So I just did a boatload of work to this Dodge Ram behind me, and now it's back in the shop with a problem related to the work we did. So this Dodge Ram behind me had metal in the fuel, so we dropped the fuel tank and we found metal in the fuel tank, so we replaced the high pressure pump, the fuel injectors, we flushed out all the lines. We did so much work to this truck, and then we put it all back together, and it runs perfect, drives perfect. But it has one problem: no check engine light, but the fuel gauge doesn't work after all that work. So we put a aftermarket fuel pump in here, and the sending unit is not working. It worked before we took it apart, so it's definitely got to be related to that. So guess what I got to do? I got to drop that fuel tank out right there. It's got about 15 gallons of fuel in it, not too much, so it's not too heavy, but we need to drop that tank back out and inspect the sending unit to see if maybe the float arm got caught when I was putting it in, but I don't think so because there's not really baffling or anything in there. So we're going to drop that fuel tank down and take a look at it, and then while it's down, we'll have it plugged in and we'll operate the arm up and down and see if it works on the gauge. If it doesn't work on the gauge, then the part is defective and we're just going to get a new part and warranty it out. Sucks that we got to do it, but that's how auto repair goes. So like I said, we removed the high pressure fuel pump, the fuel rail, the common rail, all the injectors, everything was removed, flushed out or replaced. The pump was replaced, the injectors were, we sent those out to a shop and had them cleaned, and then replaced everything that needed to be replaced. Fuel lines were all gone through from the tank all the way up to the engine. All that stuff was done, and everything worked perfectly after we got everything back together, except for the sending unit. Well, some good news about doing this job again is I get to try out some brand new tools. So Milwaukee Tool just sent me over a bunch of new ratchets here. This is the 1/4-inch drive, Generation 2 extended reach ratchets here. Brand new. They have new triggers and new buttons and all kinds of new stuff. I have videos on this on the channel already. But for right now, we're going to put it to work, and we're going to take this fender lining out, and we get to see this in action too. So this particular Milwaukee ratchet is best of both worlds. It has torque and speed, so they combined that into one ratchet. Before, you had to get two separate ratchets, either high torque or high speed. Now they got it all in one. This is the 1/4-inch drive. It features 45 foot-pounds of breakaway torque at like 550 RPM, so it's pretty fast. Before, it was like couple hundred RPM slower. So we're going to rip this fender liner out real quick. It's only a handful of 8mm screws here. And we'll get the fuel neck out, and then we'll start dropping the tank down. I'm going to show you exactly why these ratchets are so cool. So I need to get this bracket out right here. So I took the bolt off the bottom there, but see this extended reach here? Now I can get up in here like this. Get my ratchet on there. And spin that bolt out just like that. Now we can take this bolt out. And the bracket's out. So exactly why you need a ratchet like that. All right, so this hot rod, not only can you get it in places, so right here I'm working on this fuel neck, so I can get this in here to loosen up the fuel neck hose clamp here, but it has a variable speed trigger to allow me to control this really slow and take that hose clamp off. Now I can get this fuel neck off. All right, so I got the fuel neck unbolted and just kind of laying over here. It has a ground strap. I didn't feel like taking that off, so I just laid it on the arm here. So you unbolt it here, unbolt the clamps here, pull it down and pull it out, and then you can flex this out of the way, and then you can get to your fuel lines and your fuel, electrical connector right there. So I reached over the top. The tank is slightly dropped down right now, so but when it's jacked up, you can just reach right through here and get access to it. So then I unbolted the straps, and now I got two floor jacks, and I just lower one floor jack, like 2 or 3 inches. And then I come back over here and I lower this one 2 or 3 inches at a time. And then you just keep doing that until the tank is on the ground, and you slide it out here in the middle where you can work on it. All right, I got the fuel tank down and out. Now I'm just gonna pop the retainer ring off, lift it up, and we're gonna take a look at the float and see if something happened, see if it's my fault. And then if that looks all good, then we'll plug it back into the sensor that, or to the connector there, turn the key on, and then operate the float up and down, and then we'll check the gauge and see if it works. So this is diesel, so I'm not worried about sparks, so I'm just going to use this punch driver set here. Pop that hot rod off like that. All right, so we're going to lift it up, pour off some of this fuel here, get that sideways. I can see the sending unit. It's right there. There is definitely no baffles or anything in there to stop it from working. It's definitely plugged in there. I'll bring you in for a closer look here. As you can see, there's no baffling or anything inside the tank for the arm to get caught on. Nothing over there. So there's nothing for the arm to get caught on. And so we drove it over some bumpy roads and everything to see if it would like jar it free. And it's definitely not an issue of it moving. So this must be an issue with the contacts in here. So what I can do is I can unplug one of the connectors here from the pump and then plug it back in, and then we can operate this and then check the gauge. That way the pump doesn't run and try to prime anything or ruin the pump, but then we can check the float and make sure that the float, you know, is the sending unit is working or not working. So I'm underneath the truck operating the sending unit while we powered up the key and then have it all plugged in, and then we operated the sending unit to a full tank and down to a 0 tank. And if you look, you can see the gauge try to move. It moves just a tiny bit, but it's not working at all. So I got the fuel pump plugged in, but I got the fuel pump disconnected here. So it's not priming the pump. The key is on, and then we operate the float, and nothing's happened. And then, like I said, this all worked before we took it apart and replaced the sending unit here. So this new sending unit is not working. All right, as you can see, we got a defective part because it worked, like I said, it worked before we took it apart. And so now we got to give the old parts people a call and get that warrantied out. It kind of sucks that this happens, especially after a big job where we did so much work on this truck, and just a little problem like this makes us have to go back in here and do this. Even though it's not terribly hard, that's still a couple hours worth of work, especially in the hot day like it is today. It really sucks. So I would like to hear your comeback stories for parts. You know, not your comeback, but the parts comeback story. Leave comments down in the description of the video. I'm Brian Esser from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me, and I'll see you on the next one.